Hey everybody, before we get into this week's show, I wanted to jump on here and remind you of a few things. So first, our trail camera giveaway. There's still time to enter that giveaway. I'm going to put a link to that giveaway in the show notes, and you can also find it on either our Facebook or Instagram page. Basically, when you click the link, it's going to take you to a page, and it's going to ask you to visit our Facebook page. While you're there, we're hoping that you'll like and follow the page. It's going to ask you to follow us on Instagram. It's going to ask you to sign up for our email newsletter. And then the big one, the one that you get the most entries in the giveaway for, is sharing it with 2 friends. That's the big reason we're doing the giveaway, is to grow the Ohio Huntsman community. So sharing it is important. So if you would, share the giveaway with your buddies, and that way it'll help get the word out about Ohio Huntsman and help grow the community, and we can have better conversations and things on the podcast and on the Facebook and Instagram pages. The other thing is our shirts. So we've got the Eat Local shirts. You can order those on Amazon. I'm going to put a link to the shirts in the show notes. We've got t-shirts, we've got long sleeve shirts, and we've also got hoodies now. So the t-shirts come not only in men's, but they also come in women's sizes as well as kids' sizes. So you can outfit the whole family, and those shirts help support the show. So it helps us, and you get a pretty sweet shirt out of the deal. So I'd appreciate it if you would at least check them out, see if you like them, and consider ordering one. And then lastly, this show isn't our normal kind of topic-based discussion. This is more or less ramblings from deer camp. We recorded this during Gun Week, and if it's a little rambling and sort of wandering, it was 10:30 at night, I think, when we started recording this, after, hunting from sunup to sundown, dragging deer, processing deer. So we were all pretty exhausted by this point, but we wanted to get on the mics and record something for you guys while we were down at deer camp. So without further ado, here's this week's episode.
Hello and welcome to another episode of the Ohio Huntsman Podcast. We are again in our mobile recording studio, aka Jacob's truck. So if you hear some background noise or the audio is a little different than it normally is, that's why. So basically, we've got our normal hosts here, Jason, Jacob, and Jeff, and then we've also got my brother-in-law, Adam. And we're just going to kind of talk about deer camp this week. It's Tuesday of gun season, how things have been going, what kind of action we've been getting into, and just give you guys updates, I guess. So, like I said, it's Tuesday night. It's, is that clock right? Is it 11 o'clock?
Not quite.
It's not quite 11 o'clock. It's 10:30, Tuesday night. And, we just got done taking care of a bunch of deer that we...
Spoiler alert!
Yeah. Spoiler, we got into some deer. So, I guess Monday, I think most of the state was kind of rainy and wet. I know, Jeff, you hunted up north and then came down here Monday night.
Yep. Medina, Wayne area. And it was rainy and cold all day.
Yeah. Same down here. Rainy, windy, cold, kind of miserable. So as you guys may have seen online, I shot a buck opening day. And I'm trying to think, I guess it doesn't matter what time that was.
It's right before lunch.
Before lunch sometime. So that was there another one?
Yeah.
Like I said, it's late. We've been working our butts off. We're kind of frazzled here, so...
I shot my buck Monday evening.
Yeah.
Monday
So
evening, I shot my buck.
So Jacob shot a buck Monday, I shot a buck Monday, and that was our Monday. So then Tuesday, this morning, we started doing drives around here. So we're in southern Ohio, hill country down here, and, deer camp has always been about kind of the camaraderie with guys, and so it's a good way to get the guys together and everybody works together and we all get deer and we all go home with deer. So we started the morning out doing drives and had a pretty successful day. I think, Adam here, he's new. This is first time ever doing a drive, right? This morning was their first one. And
correct, yeah.
We
did 5 of them today or something like that?
Yeah, 5 drives. I know you guys were looking at your step counters, and I think Dad's phone told him he did 80 flights of steps today, and
mine said 57.
57.
Somewhere between 13 and 20,000 steps, I think.
Yeah.
Most people's stuff was reading. Good exercise.
So we put some miles on today, wore in the boot leather, and had a lot of fun. We had a lot of success today. What you guys haven't seen yet is Adam shot a big giant buck today on one of our drives, which was cool. That was biggest deer you shot?
Yes, for sure.
Yeah. So
That was a nice one.
Yeah, big 8-point.
So I guess, because you've done some hunting before.
Yeah, only by tree stand.
Yeah. So I guess any first impressions, any thoughts on deer drives in general? Like them, hate them?
Love them. Not my... I'm going to be sore tomorrow from walking.
Yeah.
But it's instead of sitting there in a tree stand, you're moving constantly, unless you're a stander, of course. But
Yeah.
that was the other part of it, was standing versus driving. You're either sweating or a little hot or you're cold.
Yeah.
So dressing and undressing for certain roles in the drives. But overall, I had a really good time. It was exciting. It filled our whole day.
Good. Yeah, so I guess that drive, that was our most successful drive. I was a pusher on that one. And as I was walking through, because we got some snow down here, and I was seeing all these fresh tracks of deer we were bumping around, and actually thinking we were screwing up because it was looking like those tracks would follow the hillside kind of toward the standers for a while, and then they would peel off and either go up and over or down and out. And I was actually thinking we had messed this up. We were taking too big of a bite, and we weren't going to see deer. And right as I was thinking that is when a lot of shooting started happening, and so it was a successful drive. We Jake, you got a deer on that one, and Adam got a deer on that one, and
saw a bunch more.
Yeah. So then we did another drive after that one and got one more. So that was just a short little one, but yeah, it was good. It was a good day. We anything else we saw in it? Not a lot of hunters down here this year.
No, yeah, it's definitely. We had the woods to ourselves, which was kind of nice. So I think that's part of why we were so successful on the drives down here, because normally, beginning of gun week, we run into a lot of other hunters, which isn't a bad thing necessarily. We just all have to kind of, especially when we're doing drives, we all have to kind of avoid each other so we're not walking into, for safety reasons, not walking in on each other. But this year there's not many trucks, not much orange, which was beneficial for us because there was a lot of untouched woods that we got to be the first boots in. By untouched, I mean untouched for gun week. It's obviously been hunted previously, but so that the deer hadn't been educated, so to speak, this year, kind of what's going on.
Yeah, some of it's national forest, some of it's private.
And up in northeast Ohio, where I was Monday, there wasn't a whole lot of hunters. I mean, there was a few trucks parked in fields, but the number of shots was low. There was very few shots that I heard. I mean, granted, the weather was really nasty, but wasn't a whole lot of people out.
Yeah, Monday was a pretty miserable weather day, that's for sure.
I don't know what the weather's supposed to do the rest of the week, but I know tomorrow morning down here is supposed to be pretty cold.
Cold, yeah.
We just looked up on top of the hill where we get some cell service and calling still for like low 20s in the morning. So
tomorrow will be the last day for gun. Well, I don't know, Jeff. Do you have plans to hunt more gun week?
I'll hunt the weekend. But
back up home.
Yeah.
Yeah, but for the rest of us, I think it's probably the end of our gun season tomorrow. We'll head out lunchtime, or I don't know. Jeff, you staying down here all day?
I might stay down till dark. We'll see. We'll see how the morning goes. You know?
Yeah. So, what else? What else do we want to talk about?
What else?
Any camp stories we want to tell? Any camp stories that are appropriate. To tell?
They got a guy down here named Jim that'll teach you everything you need to know.
Yeah.
That's for sure.
Everything you need to know and everything he thinks you need to know. He's one of our...
There's some things you don't need to know.
Yeah, he's one of our local guys that we've met over the years down here. He's a real good guy, but
yeah,
he's a lot of fun.
Yeah, he helps take care of the cabin and stuff, and
he's got some property that his family has some property that we're allowed to hunt. That's some of the private that we're allowed to go on. So, but yeah, it's a couple guys down here that let us hunt their place, so that's nice.
We eat good down here.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of other stories. Eat good, sleep good, because we work hard.
Yeah. I got all sick Sunday night.
Oh, that was a story.
I wasn't sure if I was going to be able to hunt opening day.
Yeah, you were all tore
We
up.
drove down here, and I started feeling kind of crummy, and ended up throwing up Sunday night, and kind of, I don't know, blacking out. I woke up on the front porch out here, and wasn't sure how I got there, and I don't know if it was migraine or something, but...
This was not alcohol-induced.
No.
Kind of sounds that way, but it was not.
Yeah, no. So I don't know. We'll see what that shakes out to be. I think the wife made a doctor's appointment for me, so...
That's a good thing.
Yeah. We'll get it figured out.
Yeah, that's good.
That was kind of scary.
Yeah, it was. It was kind of scary. It was definitely out of character for you, and it was, had everyone on edge to start the week off, but
yeah,
you slept it off, no harm, no foul.
Yep.
So,
no worse for wear.
I don't know if we have any other...
And I shot a deer in the rain.
Yeah. I don't know if we have any other specific camp stories. They all kind of blend together. Oh.
That's a story.
That's a story, I guess, yeah.
Adam just pointed to Jacob's forehead.
Yeah.
For those of you that can't see, that aren't watching this.
Right. Yeah, I wasn't going to call you out on it. I got a little bit of a scope bite. And by a little bit, I mean a lot of it. I had a...
Split his forehead open pretty good.
Yeah, split it pretty good. It was dripping blood pretty good. Newer gun. It's a 4570. It's newer. First season I've used it. Just had my head too close to the scope. It was deer, the way I was standing, where the deer were coming in, they were popping their head up over the hill, and they'd see me. So I had to, it happened to me once, and 2 deer saw me and took off, and I had no shot. So when I heard another one coming in, I shot very quickly, so I could shoot it before it saw me. And doing it all very fast, I had my head too close to the scope, and cracked myself pretty good between the eyes, so live and learn, I guess.
Yeah,
that was a quick shot, not due to inexperience, that's for sure.
Yeah, that scope has a long eye relief, but Jake, you were saying like you get a full sight picture from,
I can get a full
like
sight picture
a half an inch away
right,
to
all the way to like 4 inches away.
Yeah.
So I just, sometimes when you get too close, you lose your sight picture, and that's kind of your indicator. But I had a full picture, because I played around with it afterwards, trying to figure out how exactly I did it. And I can get a full sight picture from, like you said, like a half inch all the way out to 4 inches.
Yeah.
So, just all happened fast. That's part of the fun of deer drives, it all happens fast.
Sometimes it definitely does. I walked up to you and was like, what did you do to your forehead?
Yeah, I cracked it pretty good. I didn't have any... we're doing drives, so I didn't have my pack or any really extra stuff. I just had a knife to gut deer and
snow,
tags, and snow. So I was packing snow on it, trying to get it to stop dripping, while I'm also still trying to participate in the drive. I was a stander, so I was trying to keep my wits about me to see if deer were coming, more deer, but I was also trying to
Keep the blood out of your eyes.
Keep the blood out of my eyes, yeah, because it was running off my nose.
That's one thing about drives, though. For instance, when I shot mine right before Jake shot his, I was just beginning to gut it and that, and then I hear shots going off in the distance, which end up being Jake shooting his. But so I immediately pick up my gun to get ready, which I'm not used to that either. Once you shoot one, for me, it's you go clean it and get it. I wasn't ready for anything, and so I had to get ready again for more deer to come that I thought were coming anyway. So it's a quick thing when they're coming.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's fun. Lots of fun. Like we said on previous podcasts, it's not for everyone. There's some people that, I don't know, don't like deer drives or have never done deer drives. They don't even know what deer drives really are. We tried to talk about that in a previous podcast, but it's a cultural thing down here. That's how you hunt down here. The majority of the guys that live down here, that's how they've always hunted. They were raised that way. So for us, it almost would be insulting for us to come down here and not hunt that way with them.
Yeah.
They keep an eye on our place. We're good friends with a lot of them, and that's just how you hunt deer.
Well, like I said,
that's the way we like to hunt deer, you know.
Right. Yeah.
It's a lot of fun.
We like to try all, I mean, still hunting from a stand is fun as well, but, deer drives is also fun.
When you have the acreage you have down here, it's a lot more successful. You get a lot more, you cover a lot of ground.
Yeah, and you got a group of guys, and like I said, everybody pitches in, and everybody goes home with deer meat. And
right. That's the nice part is you don't have to worry about, when you come down to deer camp down here, you don't have to worry about leaving empty-handed and everyone else getting deer. It's just the way we hunt. We work together. We share our harvest with everyone that's down here.
Yeah.
There's no one that leaves without deer unless they choose not to take deer. But, everyone gets shots at deer. They may be long shots. They may be tough shots. They may not hit deer. But you're at least going to see deer the majority of the time because we get them up and moving.
Yep.
Yeah. And nothing's more frustrating than, spending a full day in the woods and not seeing anything. So that's kind of another benefit of a deer drive is typically, a day of deer driving, you're at least going to see a deer.
Yeah.
Whether you have a shot at it is a different story, but you're at least going to see deer. Where a day in a stand, sometimes the deer aren't around and you just don't see them.
Yep. I know that makes for long days.
Yeah. Especially when it's rainy.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I took my wife hunting Monday in the rain and cold and wind, and we didn't see a deer all day, and it was definitely not an enjoyable experience for either one of us. It was, she's
hooked for life.
She's new, she's new to hunting, and that was a new side of hunting for her. First time really gun hunting, and first time ever hunting in really bad weather, so it was definitely a new experience for her.
Yeah, that's the way it goes sometimes. A little bit of snow helps too with seeing deer, right? You can see them from a long way. We saw those. If there wasn't a little bit of snow, those two this morning, Adam, that we saw on that very first drive, I wonder if we would have even been able to see them.
Yeah, you can definitely see the dark versus the white under.
Yeah, when you put them on a white background, they pop really nicely, and
plus it helps dragging your deer out.
I was going to say, it makes for a good deer drag too.
Yeah. Yeah, a little coating of snow helps with dragging deer, that's for sure.
Helps with blood trails.
Yeah.
The one deer, it didn't really bleed much, and without the snow on the ground, it would have been hard to track.
Yeah, there really wasn't. I mean, it was just little speckles of blood.
It was a good shot.
Yeah. That was a weird one.
Yeah. I think it just, it was double lung, and maybe the lungs just filled up with the blood before it, spilled.
Yeah. Like you were saying, that one...
Was that the last one?
Yeah.
It might have been a little high lung, so maybe it filled up and didn't pour out. I mean, it was a good shot, but I think it might... That's the only thing I could think, is that it was a higher lung. But I don't know.
It didn't go real far, but, it was like there's just not a lot of blood. Like you said, like if it was on leaves, it'd have been we might have looked around and said, I must have missed it, but with that snow, you could see the little red specks, but we found it, so that was all good. Didn't go real far, but it was far enough away from where the shot was that if you didn't, if you didn't see any blood.
Yeah, and it got itself down in a creek bottom, so,
yeah.
Unless you were right up on it, you couldn't see it.
Right. Any other, did we see any other critters in the woods today?
Saw an owl. That was
you did?
Kind of cool. Yeah. Yeah.
You saw
turkeys.
Oh, that's right. I did see turkeys.
Oh, yeah, they walked right up to you in orange.
Yeah. Get this. Opening day, rainy, and so you can walk around pretty quietly on the wet leaves. I had like 6 turkeys walk by within bow range, and I'm standing there in blaze orange. I'm on the ground.
That was a good advertisement for the
Yeah. Yeah. They did, I did hear one of them kind of putt as they, I think kind of saw me there, but they weren't really spooked. They just kind of started feeding down the hill away from me versus continuing across the hill out in front of me. And it was, I don't know. They were not super concerned about me being there and that they had walked right up to me. Because it was like this thick brush stuff, and then all of a sudden they popped out and they're like 20 yards from me. And they had to have seen me.
Yeah. Did you guys see many squirrels today?
No, not really.
Not a ton, no.
I saw far fewer squirrels than I normally see.
I had one try to climb my leg yesterday.
I didn't hear that story.
Well, it's not really not much of a story. This squirrel I think he wanted to climb the tree I was standing on, and he got pretty close I wasn't moving, and he was pretty close. It was close enough to where I purposely moved so that he would see me, because he was going to be coming up my leg pretty quick. Then he just was barking at me for a while and went on his merry way.
Went on his way.
Yeah.
I have a similar story. I was bow hunting once, standing, from the ground, and I was standing next to a tree where I had a branch that came down and connected to the main trunk of the tree, right by my head. And I had this squirrel. He was, he's working around in the trees, and he ended up on that branch, and he's working his way down this branch toward my head. And I think, oh, that's pretty cool, and then he gets closer, and I'm getting a little nervous, getting awfully close to my head. And just then, as I had been paying attention to this squirrel for the past 10 minutes or whatever, just then as I moved to kind of same thing, hey, you don't really want to climb on my head, or at least I don't want you to climb on my head, I happened to look over, and there was a doe standing there, she's right there, I don't know, maybe 20 yards, probably not even 20 yards, but she had walked around the edge of this path where I was while I was fooling around with this squirrel, and the squirrel did not jump on my head, but I think I missed it because that deer was staring at me at that point. It was the gig was up, but I think that squirrel caused me to miss that deer. Cause I never even had a shot opportunity at that point. But all right.
I don't think I saw any other critters today. Driving up and down the roads at night to make phone calls, I saw a possum and raccoon, but
one of the guys that was driving with us ran into someone who was claiming that public land was his private property, which you'll have that.
Yeah.
A lot of people will try to convince you that this public property is their property and you're trespassing, and so that's where an app like Onyx Maps or something like that comes in handy.
Yeah. Yeah, that's definitely nice to have.
Because sometimes it's, the people are actually confused at what they own, and sometimes they just intentionally want to stake claim to public land.
Yeah. It also, any of those mapping apps really also help with getting turned around, especially doing the drives and stuff that we do. If it's a new drive that you've never been on, you can get turned around. I remember as kids, you get turned around and you're like, where am I?
Yeah.
Or you come down out of the woods somewhere.
Or even, since it's my first time down here at your hunt camp, Jason had me download the app, showed me where I was going to sit so that when I went in the dark, that led me right to where I needed to go. Especially with unfamiliar territory. That also helps for me, because I did get to drive today. When I'm driving, if I get lost for whatever reason, I can pull that up and it'll help me. So that those apps are tremendously helpful.
Yeah. I know there's...
Yeah, I remember as kids that, didn't help either, that the direction they would give us was like, go over that third down tree, turn right, drop down over that hill, go up the other one, and it's like, I'm lost.
Yeah, or you're going to go out here a ways.
Yeah, a ways.
And
you'll
go
know.
left. Right. Right, you'll know when you get there. Yeah.
Can't miss it.
It's big woods down here.
Yeah.
If you get lost, you can be lost for a while. I know I got lost one time, and I was in the woods a good little while. Finally started walking a power line to find a road, and I came out way far away from where I started.
Was that the one where the property owner came tearing out and was really not happy about you being there?
Yep, I walked, as soon as I realized I was lost, I unloaded my gun, and, I'm just trying to find my way out of the woods, and found a power line, and walked it, and found a road, and as soon as I, hit the road, the property owner, it saw me, and they came racing down the road and, asked me what I'm doing, and it's like, I am terribly sorry, but I am lost, I have no clue where I'm at, can you, and then they're saying, where were you trying to go, and, then they were surprised because I was nowhere near there.
Sure, right, you are really lost.
Yeah.
And I mean, I was fairly young at the time, and I got all turned around.
Yeah. It can be easy to do, once you get once you learn the lay of the land, the topography can help, but when you get some of these little finger ravines and stuff, and
it's a different ball game now with cell phones too, with maps.
Yeah.
It's a lot harder to get lost.
Yeah.
Without a cell phone or a map of any type, I guess if you wanted to carry paper maps around, but when you're just going off memory or what another guy is telling you of what this ravine or hollow or whatever you want to call it looks like, and you've never been in it, it's easy. Some of them are pretty big, and when you get down in them, you can get turned around pretty quick. Trying to go around some deadfall, and all of a sudden you're headed the wrong direction, and then every direction is uphill, so you don't know.
Yeah.
That's another thing down here with all the drives we did. You guys were kind of explaining how many trees are down.
Yeah.
More than normal, I guess, because I stepped over 1 million trees today just to keep walking. But
yeah, they had some.
Tornado.
I don't know if it was like confirmed tornado touchdowns or just really high winds this summer, but there are a ton of trees that got blown over this year that have really changed the way the woods look. There was some
Big
and I'm not, some big trees got blown over down here, and so it.
There's trees that they're blown over, and the root ball is every bit 15 feet in the air.
Yeah,
they're big trees.
Yeah. So that was, some of these walks that we've traditionally done for years. You kind of had to reroute a little bit because it was like I just can't get through there. There's a big giant tree there. I don't.
Right. or there's an old four-wheeler path that has been kind of maintained, or at least maintained enough to walk along, but now there's big giant trees across it. That causes you to kind of step off down into some different ravines, which, again, get you misled pretty quick if you're not careful. But that's part of it. It's all part of hunting down here.
Yeah, so if we all sound tired and worn out, it's because we're tired and worn out. We, we work hard down here. We have a lot of fun, though, and do it every year. So anything else we've been at this for a half hour, and
I don't think so. I'm pretty tired. Tired.
We're pushing 11 o'clock here, so
it's well past bedtime.
Time to get up at 5 and go hunting again.
Yep.
5 or whatever tomorrow again.
Do it all over.
Yep.
All right. Well, thanks everybody for listening, and as always, subscribe to the show. That's how you get notified of new episodes. Follow us on Facebook at Ohio Huntsman and Instagram at Ohio Huntsman Podcast. Hopefully you're having a good gun season, having some luck, getting into some deer. Stay safe, and good luck.